All right, I'm going to get straight to it. The 6 or more reasons why we are cooked. 1, the Strait of Hormuz is still closed. For those who don't know what the Strait of Hormuz is the one area where one part of the world gets oil to the other part of the world. So this is a global crisis. So Iran has been blowing up oil tankers and putting mines in the water to keep ships from passing. But here's what's crazy. They are now charging the ships that are afraid to go through $2 million to go through. And on top of that, it's only certain countries that they like. Certain countries can't get through no matter what. So to a certain degree, they're making $10 to $50 million per day by closing the Strait of Hormuz. So every day that goes by, they're making $10 to $50 million, which means they're making money off of this war. 2, Donald Dumbass threatened Iran by saying if they don't reopen the Strait of Hormuz, the nerve of him, imagine somebody telling you to do something and you have all the power. And if they don't, and this is within 48 hours, we're going to attack not only the oil facilities, but the power plants and the power facilities. And let me play something that will give you an understanding of how terrible this actually is.
Slightest attack on electricity infrastructure of Iran, the entire region will go dark. And this is Mir News' response to Trump. So what you're looking at here, I mean, this is it right here. This is the map, and they're showing all of the infrastructure, not just oil, but electricity as well. And they say the slightest. One attack by Trump, one response by Trump, and the entire EU is going dark.
Here comes the energy lockdowns. Fuel stations run out of diesel across Australia. Waiting for days, India feels impact of gas supply chain disruption. Vietnam braces for flight cuts from April after China and Thailand ban jet fuel exports. Iran war ignites African race to keep gas pumps flowing. And another article that we all need to be paying attention to, what soaring diesel costs amid war with Iran mean for meat, vegetable and fruit prices. So why is there an energy lockdown coming? The IEA now wants alternating license plate restrictions, which means you will not be allowed to be on the roads on certain days. Welcome to the Great Reset. And yes, this was all planned.
And like she said, this was all planned. So for some people, they're like, why are we going to war? Virtually every war is a psyop in order to get us to give them more of our autonomy and for them to have more control over us. Every war takes more control away from the American people. So it's actually a war against us and not against the other country.
I'm telling you, every world leader, every one of them is playing their part for this to happen.
Number 3, we recently found out that Iran now has long-range missiles that can now reach Berlin, Paris, and London. So this is not only just a Middle East fight anymore. And on top of that, Iran has full control over Is Not Real's airspace, and Iran is totally obliterating Dimona. And why Dimona? Who cares about Dimona? Well, Dimona is where It's Not Real's nuclear facilities are, as well as all of their nuclear warheads. So all of this nuking Iran is about to be a joke because they're about to tear up all their nuclear facilities. And on top of that, what are they doing with nuclear facilities in the first place? Here's the reason why, in my opinion. This part right here is just my opinion. America is using Is Not Real to be able to threaten other countries, which means if there was an actual nuclear war, it will come from It's Not Real and not America. 4, now we're really getting into the weeds. Iran is daring the United States to send ground troops because this is going to be crazy. Iran is literally daring the United States to send ground troops. You know why? Because the terrain in Iran is very mountainous.
The Zagros mountain range covers the western third of the country. The Elburz Mountains dominate the north. These aren't rolling hills. These are peaks above 4,000 meters with narrow passes, limited roads, and terrain where armored vehicles can't operate effectively and where air support has severely reduced visibility. Iranian forces have been preparing for this invasion for 20 years. They know every valley, every choke point. They have pre-positioned weapons, caches, they have underground bunkers. American forces will be walking into traps constantly. Ambushes in narrow valleys where you can't maneuver. IEDs on mountain roads where there's no alternate route. Sniper positions on high ground where they can see you, but you can't see them. This is a nightmare scenario for any military.
A lot of the mountains in Iran, they're not just mountains, they're military installations, which means a spot can literally just open up and shoot missiles out of it. So because of the mountainous terrain, it's impossible for ground troops to navigate from one area to another. They'll just get picked off left and right. And let me show you proof of missiles coming out of the ground randomly in Iran. This is it right here. Just coming out of the ground randomly. So imagine traveling through here with tanks or trucks or whatever, and next thing you know, underground, all of this stuff is happening right up under you while you're traveling through Iran. All of this is going on right up under you.
Iran's vast underground network of bunkers used to house and shield their arsenal from destruction.
So with Iran, the entire country has underground missiles, landmines, exploding drones, bunkers that are built inside of mountains and underground that can literally just unload on anybody up above them. So this potentially means American ground troops trying to invade Iran will literally be experiencing an episode of Predator, the movie. Because they'll literally be watched and hunted through the entire terrain. Now, I'm not making jokes of this, but there's no way in hell these ground troops will survive this. 5, It's Not Real, as we all know, is this weird ally that keeps getting us in trouble. But are they an ally? Of course not. We all know that they're not. We all know that they hate us. So we're going to war with an ally that has verbally said that they hate us. Watch this.
Powerful nations in the world have to go down to their knees. That's what happened to Egypt. That's what's going to happen to America. That's what's going to happen to Germany. That's what's going to happen to France. That's what's going to happen to London, England. It's going to happen to Poland. That's what's going to happen to Russia. That's what's going to happen to China. That's what's going to happen to North Korea. They're all going to go down. They're all going to go down to their knees, especially the Western ones. The Zohar says that they're going to go down hard for how they treated us over the last 2,000 years, for the destruction of the Second Temple and how they treated us. Hashem's going to take them down hard. He's going to humiliate them on the world stage, Western countries. But we're almost there, guys. It's happening. This is it. And so, yeah, it's less ethnocentric. It's less ethnocentric because the reason God's doing this is for His name in this world. And His name being made great amongst us, we already think His name's great. It's the world stage where His name is going to be made great. And that's going to be the ultimate fireworks show.
So if that isn't disgusting and terrible in itself, number 6, it's literally impossible for ground troops to actually stage the invasion. Forget about invading the country. They can't stage an invasion. One reason is the neighboring countries are refusing to let us stage soldiers and equipment in their country. In order to invade a country, you have to first stage everything. We're talking about like 300,000 to 500,000 soldiers, equipment, tanks, food, fueling trucks. The second thing, whenever we start staging something, they're just going to blow it up or blow them up. So before they can stage an invasion, everybody and everything will just get blown up.
500,000 soldiers minimum to occupy a country the size of Iran. That's the low-end estimate from the military's own invasion planning documents. In 2003, used 150,000 troops to occupy a country 1/3 the size with 1/3 the population. Iran is bigger, more populous, more militarily capable, and far more unified than Iraq ever was. Where do you stage 500,000 troops? Iraq won't allow it. The Iraqi government, now Shia-dominated and closely aligned with Iran, has already announced that American forces will not be permitted to use Iraqi territory for staging an invasion.
Here's the bottom line. If America can't beat Iran, we are worthless to the entire Middle East because we can't protect the Gulf states. The entire purpose for the United States to set up bases in all of these Gulf states is in order to protect the states. But if we can't show that we can protect the Gulf states from Iran, what is the point of us being over there? And that's the actual problem. See, a lot of the Gulf states like Saudi Arabia, that's oil, not weapons. So they need a base there to protect them because the value they offer is oil. The UAE is about tourism, not weapons and missiles and tanks. So essentially, and this is sad, and this is the reason why we shouldn't have gotten in this war in the first place, Trump is literally following 50 Cent's blueprint, get rich or die trying, which means thousands of soldiers, thousands will die trying, if not all of them, because we can't win this war. And if we don't win this war, or should I say when we don't win this war, because it's impossible to win due to the fact that we cannot, no matter what you hear, cannot send ground troops to Iran. Iran is huge, and the entire country is full of military underground facilities. So when we lose, we will have to totally withdraw out of the Middle East and lose all power, all presence, all influence, and all control of how oil is sold, which means the petrodollar will lose its value. See, the dollar itself is just a piece of paper. It's connected to oil, which is the petrodollar. The petrodollar is what's valuable. Without the United States dominance or protection, because we can't protect anybody because we're losing this battle right here, oil at some point will be priced in a different currency and not the petrodollar. And remember, the only value that actual money has, the US dollar, is because it's connected to oil. And if we don't control the oil, the rest of the country is going to start using somebody else's currency in order to buy oil. Because of that, the global standard for the US dollar will be decreased. and we use American dollars to trade with other countries. But if our dollar is no longer as valuable due to the fact that we lost control of the oil, what we buy is going to be more expensive because what we have to trade for the resource is not as valuable anymore. So whatever resource we're trading for, we're going to have to spend more of our money in order to trade for it because they don't want our money like they used to because they're over there trading oil with won or yen instead of US dollars. So that means they don't really want to trade the resource for our money. So that means once we get the resource and sell it in America, the price of the resource is going to be so expensive, the American people aren't going to be able to afford the actual resource. Whether it's gas, food, medications, everything is going to be too high for us to even afford. And lastly, this is what Iran is demanding from the United States. Guarantee that there are no future wars. 2, lift sanctions. But I think we already lifted the sanctions in Iran. Think about this. We've already lifted sanctions for a country that we're at war with. 3, leave the Middle East. No bases, no nothing. Stay over there, mind our business, and have no bases anywhere in the Middle East. No Gulf states, no nothing, because we can't protect anything anyway. 4, pay reparations to all the damage that was caused to Iran. Is there a positive to any of this? I think there's one positive. Playing this video again.
Because the most powerful nations in the world have to go down to their knees. That's what happened to Egypt. That's what's going to happen to America. That's what's going to happen to Germany. That's what's going to happen to France. That's what's going to happen to London, England.
If Iran continues their airstrikes, there's a possibility that they may wipe a certain place off of the face of the earth, where that place will no longer exist. Now, will they do that? I'm not sure. I don't think so. But I would say that would be the only positive that would come out of this. But other than that, we're cooked. We're stir-fried. We're crab legs. We're done. But let me know what y'all think in the comments. Do you see a way where something positive can come out of this? Do you think is a possibility that we can withdraw before it's too late? Or do you think we're cooked just like I think we're cooked? Let me know what you think in the comments.
This just in, a new way of healing is sweeping the country, and it's a card game called Like Mother, Like Daughter. This game is powerful.
My favorite question was, if you could parent me all over again, what would you change? This card game has a mother deck and a daughter deck, so we both have questions for each other.
These are some good questions.
Do you think I'm a people pleaser? If so, where did I get this trait from?
This card game actually helped my marriage, and the questions showed me that I still had unresolved issues with my mom, and I was taking them out on my husband. If you don't do anything else, buy this card game. You won't regret it. Click the link below.